Let's just see if anyone else joins.
Recording.
Okay. It is now 7:38 p.m. and welcome to the members of the Youth and Education Committee. I'm going to officially commence the meeting. My name is Gail Grandison and I am the chair of the Youth and Education Committee, and I want to welcome each and every one of you here tonight. I'm going to start by doing some introductions. As I call your name, please introduce yourself, whether you're a board member, yes, committee member, or visiting us for the first time. And this introduction would be used as the official roll call. I see to my right, I'm going to go as to my right and go clockwise, Mr. Charles.
Hi, I'm Hyacinth Charles. I'm a committee member, and I'm not sure about being a board member. But I would like to be a member of the committee. I don't know what else. I am a mental health professional. I worked in the school system as a mental health professional for many years. I used to be a special ed teacher prior to that, but later on I worked in the hospitals. So that's about me.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Charles, you are a committee member. So it doesn't matter. I'm just saying because I know there are a couple people on here that are also board members that are also committee members. So just to expand on, their relationship with the board. Ms. McCain Brown.
Good evening, everyone. Monica McCain Brown, committee member.
Thank you. Mr. Tate.
Oh, yes. I have problem unmuting. Good evening, everyone. This is George Tate. I'm a board member and committee member. Season greetings, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Tate. Next is Ivor.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Ivor Wood. I'm a committee member and a board member, and 'tis the season to be jolly.
It sure is. Thank you, Mr. Woods. Next, Miss Mark.
Good evening, all. My name is Edith Mark. I'm a community board member as well as a committee member. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Duncan.
Good evening, everyone. This is Duncan. I am a committee member.
Thank you. Miss Simon.
Hi, good evening. My name is Pamela Simon. I've been around at least for a little while now. I'm not sure if I'm a board member or I am a member. I filled out the form a couple of years ago, and I'm becoming more consistent with attending. I've been in the community for 30 years. My children went to school here. I'm passionate about garbage and just about everything. And I'll just throw this in. I was at the post office just the other day, and I had a cold. I was coughing and whatever. Make a long story short, I told one of the patrons in the post office, I said, you see the ceiling right here? I says, a couple of years ago, the ceiling had fell through, and it stayed like that for 8 months. And I wrote the letter to the um to the district. I wrote to several people regarding this this ceiling, and I had it fixed, as well as the train station. It was smelly, it smelled of urine, and I wanted to speak with the superintendent, and I did. And I demanded that the Canarsie station does not smell like urine, and now it does not smell like urine anymore. So that's who I am. I care about a lot of things, a lot of people, especially children, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Simon, for being here. So you said that you were on the committee a few years ago?
I applied for 3, I signed up for years. Maybe this one for the youth committee, perhaps, maybe that was the last one. No, actually, yeah, I applied for them at the same time. So yeah, I just started regularly attending. Yeah, and it took time
Okay.
for them to actually accept me, which is like a year ago, but yeah.
Okay, because I don't have you on my roster, which doesn't mean anything, just the fact that I don't have you just in case of voting. But I'm going to have, if you can put your email in the chat so I can send you the official form to just fill it out so that I'm able, I can have Ms. Lyons add you to the roster as a committee member, official committee member.
I appreciate that. And additionally, I could also forward you the copy that when I filled it out and
Yeah.
they confirmed it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, that would work also. Miss Lyons, would that be acceptable if she just forwarded the one that she previously filled out?
Yes, that would be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Well, welcome back, Ms. Simons. Great to have you. Tricia?
Good evening, everyone. Tricia Lewison, committee and board member.
Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. I'm sorry, I not too long got in. It's a little cold out there. Okay, so I'm going to do my chairperson report, which is going to really focus on some things that are coming up in the community, and I hope that I see you at one of them. So the first one I want to talk about is the CB17 tree lighting. So those for you who are not aware, every year CB17 in partnership with Council Member Farrah Lewis, and it used to be, there was another partner in there also. But this year it's Community Board 17 and Councilwoman Lewis's office are going to be doing the community holiday lighting. And it's this Friday, December 15, from 6 to 7 p.m. If you love decorating trees or the kids are around or what, please join them. They ask if you can help to decorate the tree at 4 p.m. It will be in Powdergate Park, and that's the part on it's between Albany and Foster Avenues. So it's the actual lighting begins from 6 to 7 p.m. and the decoration begins at 4. Miss Lyons, is that also the same time as the toy giveaway for the kids?
Yes, I believe they give the toys to them at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just surprised that they didn't have it on here because I think last time that's it. But if you have, kids, the toys range up to like maybe 10, 11, might be 12 years old. But if you have young kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, any, child around that age group or so, please come out. The gifts that we get are really great gifts. So please come out, join us in the park for that tree lighting, and that's our way of celebrating the holidays with you. Mr. Tate, I saw your hand up. Is it in relation to something I said or?
Yes, something you said. I just wanted to chime in a little bit on it since I'm part of the committee. If you
Oh,
don't mind me
please.
adding a little
Yes, no.
information.
Please, thank you, thank you.
Okay, yes, one, you mentioned that there used to be another partner. Yes, it's Elite Learner, and as far as I know, they're still involved. They're still partners. So
Okay,
they will be there also.
they
Yeah,
will be there. Okay,
yeah,
the names weren't
yeah,
on the flyer, so I wasn't sure.
yeah. Okay, in addition, I just want to mention that
Mhm.
the tree lighting will be at the park, and the toy distribution will be at the community board office. So right after the tree lighting, they'll be walking over to the community board office. We're
Okay,
still looking for volunteers.
you guys hear that? They're looking for volunteers.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Tate.
you're welcome.
I was just reading off the flyer
Yeah.
here, so that additional information is very helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There's also on Saturday. Now this event has been canceled about 3 times because if you guys remember when we were getting rain every weekend a couple of months ago, and it's called Dig In, Care for New York City Parks. This event is at Tilden Playground. It's on Saturday from 10 to 1, and it's let's see, volunteer with the Central at South Brooklyn CDC and Community Board 17 Parks and Beautification Committee to beautify Tilden Playground. So there's going to be some cleanup that they're going to be doing there. So if you're interested and you want to get out, I think this weekend is supposed to be pretty nice. And I guess I can call nice being in what I think it's 51 or 52 degrees, almost near winter, smack in the middle of December. So if you have any young folks in your home, please, you can, turn up with them. If you need more information, please contact the board office, and Ms. Lyons or Ms. Frazier will be able to give you more details around this event. Let's see, the other event that we have, so there's I want to call it's, and this was, I think it's an external organization. They're having a toy drive, and they're in need of unwrap gifts. If you can please share with your colleagues and friends. Now this, they sent it to us, but the drop-off spot is in Bed-Stuy, and I am not asking people to go outside of their communities to give toys to other people. It's the Bed-Stuy Family Enrichment Center, but if it's an organization you know and you usually donate to, or you have family that lives over that side of Brooklyn, please feel free to donate to their cause. Children, one child, all children are our children. So if you're interested in that, please donate. And let's see, the other event. So December 6th, there was it was a Zoom call called Community Conversation, and it was with school district 17, 22, 18, and it was I attended it, and it was basically around the safety concerns within the district, with our schools. And honestly, I did not get to listen to the full conversation around it, but the initial conversation was about the safety, what is going on in school and around the schools in terms of crime or robberies and commitment. And I was really surprised to hear the officer said that there's a minimal risk in those school districts, right? So the people that was on this was the NYCPS Brooklyn Safety Director, Mr. Craig Edwards, and there were representatives from both Brooklyn North and Brooklyn South, NYPD. But you know, there wasn't a lot of violence or criminality happening within our district, and the words they used was that it's like at a minimal, just your usual. So that was kind of good to hear. I'm sorry I wasn't able to hear to stay on for the entirety of the thing to hear a lot more of what the conversation revolved around. But some of it was also concerning the safety of the kids in school given the Hamas and Israel war, and whether any of the kids within our schools were being targeted, either being of Jewish descent or Palestinians. And I also, from what I gather, is that any kind of anti-Semitism or Palestinian attacks, that these things were not really happening in our schools per se. So I'm glad to hear that all of our kids were relatively, safe in conjunction with what's happening on the other side of the world. Going on right now is the ADM interview. So as I mentioned previously, and for those who weren't here for previous meetings, one of the staff, Ms. Carol, I'm sorry, I went to call her Barnett. Am I correct, Ms. Lyons? Is it Barnett? That's Carol's last name.
Carol.
Barton.
Carol
Thank you.
Barton.
Thank you. Ms. Barton retired a few months ago. So currently in the office is Ms. Frazier and Ms. Lyons. And so we met, I'm part of the personnel committee also, and we came up, sent out job description, had it posted and stuff. We've got a number of candidates for the assistant district manager position. The committee met several times and we narrowed down those candidates to 6 people. And, it was based on the criteria of experience, regarding their work experience and some specifically the kind of administrative experience that we were looking for within the office. And we came up with 6. I think there were, I'm not going to say because I can't remember the number Ms. Frazier had told me out of the interview, the resumes that they got, but it was a good number. It might have been 15 or maybe more, maybe 20. So those 6 are currently this week. It's going to be 2 interviews per day. I think they started yesterday, today, and I think on Thursday. So out of those, that process is currently happening. And out of those 6, we will, based on the scores, there's a scoring mechanism that we design from 1 to 5, 1 being the least, 5 being the most. We will narrow down those individuals to 3. After we've gotten those 3, they then will be given a in-house test because they have to go to the board's office, and they will, I call it a test, but it's like a sample worksheet they're going to put together for them to do around administrative stuff. And at those 3 then will be presented to the board to meet them and to get the feedback from the board. And then the next step will be deciding who is that final candidate that will be the new assistant district manager at Community Board 17. This process, we're looking for it to be completed by hopefully the end of the year. Possibly may not, but it will run into January. I will say at some point in December, there might be a special for all board members who are on here. There might be a special meeting that will be called. It could be November, or it could be December, or it could be November, January, before the regular board meeting. So that's just a heads up. And that will be relying on how fast the process go, and if we do need to do that special meeting before we meet as a official board, or if it will run into that time frame. So currently happening. One of the other things I want to talk about is, so last year for Youth Happening, of course, you know, we've got a rain out and stuff. And one of the things I want to do is for those organizations that attended, I want to send out a survey in January, because I want to get a feel of what exactly they would like to see. And exactly, and this is around activities and food and entertainment. I want to get the feedback from these organizations so that when we start to, in January or February, start to work on this, that we're kind of meeting the kids where they want to be, right? That we understand clearly, like, here's what's entertaining for them, right? I know in the past we would have it, and you know, there was the entertainment portion which everyone likes and stuff, but I feel like during the day, before we get to that portion, there's some things that we really need to square up, and the food part is really one of them, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it with this. So that survey, more than likely, I'm going to try to send that out. I know next week is the last week of school. So I definitely want to have it ready for January, and I will welcome your feedback moving forward on what the kind of questions, what you think we should ask, that we would really get solid feedback from many of the daycares. And that ends my chairperson report. I want to go into unfinished business. Before I do that, any questions from anyone?
Yeah, yes, my hands were up from
Oh, I'm sorry.
before, but you didn't see it. Yeah, it
No,
was
I
regarding.
didn't. I'm sorry, Mr. Tate. I'm using two screens and I was looking at what I was reading or writing fully. So I do apologize for that. Go ahead.
No problem. It's just that I'm a little confused. It's regarding the interviewing that's going on.
Okay.
Because you mentioned Carol Barnett, but so I don't know. Are you interviewing for both Carol Barnett's position and the assistant district manager? Because I know we lost two people. We lost the assistant district manager and Carol Barnett
Oh, Miss.
just about at the same time.
Oh,
So
Carol, yeah. Oh, not Carol. Yeah, Carol Barton. That's who you're talking about, Miss Barton.
We lost most of them at the same time, but she wasn't the assistant district manager. So since we lost both of them at the same time. I was wondering if you are just concentrating on one position, or you also replacing Kiara Barton, who was
Right.
the liaison for quite a number of committees.
Yes. So no, we're not hiring. That job description has not gone out as yet
Oh, okay.
for Miss Barton. So they're just doing the assistant district manager first, and then given the budget, then a decision is going to be made around the having another full-time position to replace Miss Barton.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yes, thank you. I forgot that we did lose also this ADM around the same time. Yes. And I'm sorry, just to clarify, when I say lose her, she did not die or anything like that. Okay. So any other questions from anyone around anything that I said? Okay, hearing none. This is more than likely going to be a short meeting tonight. So, unfinished business and discussion. So I want to say, I reached out. Let me see if any of my principals are on here. They're not. So, the last meeting we had this really great conversations hearing from Principal Grant and Principal McCray. And it was around, low attendance and, fear of their budgets being cut because they weren't making their numbers and stuff like that. And then just after we had this conversation, the mayor came out and said there's a 5% budget cut across the board. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming sooner rather than later. And that concerned me a lot, right? And it concerned me for a couple of reasons. Sorry, trying to get here. That the schools who were already struggling with budget issues were going to be hit a little harder. And my other concern was, I know that, and I'll tell you, I saw Councilwoman Joseph on the news. I know that she's out there fighting to restore some of this funding, backing to our schools. And because the estimated amount is about $2.1 billion in cuts, right? And that's a tough pill for a lot of our schools, especially in our communities. Let me just put it that way. It's a tough pill to have to swallow for the schools in our community to lose that kind of funding. So not only they're losing funding because there's low enrollment, they're losing funding because there are budget cuts. So I struggle with the issue of whether or not we should, and I know I spoke about writing a letter and stuff to Farr Lewis and Councilwoman Lewis and Councilwoman Joseph to have a sit-down conversation with them or to have them join it at one of our meetings. And I sent an email to our principals just outlining, given the, what was happening with all the budget cuts and stuff, do they think that this was the best time to have that conversation with our elected officials? Unfortunately, they have not responded. I just felt like the timing and relevance, because I thought, our issue was we were dealing with something that was imminent that concerned just this community. So that's why I felt like that conversation with our elected officials was needed, because it was us, right? And then with the budget cuts, I'm like, okay, so this is not just affecting us, this is affecting the schools all across the 5 boroughs. And that means that Councilwoman Joseph, that now her job has just become even much more difficult. Even although there might have been other school districts coming at her now, this is like everyone now is looking for her to be superwoman, swoop in there and find, and to help to find a way to restore some of these cuts, right? And I know that she's out there doing her darnest best for some, maybe all or some of those cuts to be restored, because we know the value of education within our community. And I've heard many of my colleagues, they're like, the 2 things that you're going to cut is schools and police. Like they're up in arms with it. So I just wanted to reach out to our principals just to get their feedback to see whether the timing and relevance of the proposed meeting, you know, it would bring any kind of solutions or purpose to the conversations. But they have not responded to the email. So as my committee, I am asking your opinion on this. I did at our last executive meeting, I spoke to this among my colleagues about it. I'll share with you what they said after, but I want to get your input on this matter, because I want to move forward as a committee and not just as a chair. So anyone has any thoughts around this? No one?
Hello,
Yes, who's speaking?
it's Timothy.
Hi, Timothy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Good evening, everyone. So it seems like the budget cuts are cutting deep because of a lot of issues, the migrant issue, the like the low enrollment. Have we proposed, say, alternative measures of getting money to schools, like maybe through fundraising, through political pressure? I know you talked about a few elected officials already doing that. I think it will be even more if we can get more people on board through the political apparatus. That would be probably one of our best solutions. Other things we can do is like maybe hold a fundraiser, maybe have like a drive of some sort to make sure that schools maybe have donations of essential things that students may need during this time. If the cuts are gonna take away some, like maybe books or services of some sort, we can kind of have an alternative to make sure that despite the cuts, if they were to say just happen no matter what, that at least there's a support system in place for the students within the community, so they can receive, get something out of it while this is going on. But I'm just throwing things out there. Political pressure is always the best way to go, but even that is limited. So yeah.
So Yeah, I hear you. I thank you for that. So the whole thing with the political pressure is that there is a lot of political pressure on this because nobody wants any of the services we currently have, whether it's school, police, sanitation, housing, none of them to, for these cuts to take effect or to be affected by it. So, I would say and hope that our elected officials are working on various angles to combat some of these cuts. Now, they may be able to restore some funding, and then in some areas they may not, right? We may have to give to get or rob Peter to pay Paul somehow. But my whole concern is that, yeah, the political pressure is already on, right? And the political pressure is on the mayor to restore these fundings, and our elected officials are already turning up that political pressure, are involved because they've already gotten the call from the constituents and stuff around these budget cuts. So they're already in the game. I just don't know what else are, what's the other, or what kind of pressure or additional pressure that we can put on them that's going to, make them go any faster or what, right? Because right now I think this is a word in process. The other thing I like that you mentioned was, okay, the drive. So I wrote down a couple of things, like essential items needed in schools. So yes, CB17 committee, we could do a drive, right? But we have to find out what are some of those items that the schools need, and then we can start this drive in terms of getting it out there, putting out flyers, getting people to donate stuff. Fundraising, I think the issue with fundraising is that it has to be done individually at the schools, right? I don't think that we do a fundraiser that we're even gonna make a dent in enough to cover, to say every school in the community, gets maybe $500 or $1,000. I could be wrong. You guys can let me know, but it's a huge undertaking to do that. So I think fundraisers, we could partner with some of the schools, especially the PTAs, when they're doing their fundraiser, to see how we can partner with them or can help. Maybe get them to do options, and we can donate different items if they want to do like a silent auction or something like that. If the school holds maybe a gala or what, there are various things within there that they can do. But I think that the big fundraising piece, and here's why as a board committee that we can't do it now, because I can sit down here and I can write as many proposals and stuff, but unfortunately the board has not yet. There's still some clarity needed around the Friends of Community Schools 501c3. Whether I can use that, I'm getting different responses around that. I don't know if that's something that's illegally running, that I can say, hey, I'm going to work with this school to help them write a proposal based on the Friends of Community Board 17, using that organization status to, to get those funds. Because, once you're dealing with grants and stuff like that, you have to produce that W-9, and, this all then becomes, at the end of the year, we have to submit that 1099 for tax to the IRS, just to be in compliance and stuff. So my hands are kind of tied there. But as I said, we can work with the PTAs. I can put it out there if they're doing fundraiser, encourage them all to do silent auctions. Um, we can donate some prizes. Doesn't have to be anything big and glorious. It could be, um, a coat. Hey, we got a coat, auction that off, for a parent or so. Those kind of things.
That's a good idea. Like instead of maybe the donation, I think it sort of looks like we're leaning more towards that donations, auctions, creating like a list of resources that parents can tap into, organizations that usually give out stuff for free through donations, just compiling a sort of list that, like a resource list for people, so they can get some things through other organizations that are already doing that work and connecting them to that. That can
Right.
also
Yes.
be.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Anyone has any other ideas of how we can, you know, well, I let me rephrase that. I'm looking for two things from you. Any ideas of how other fundraisers, other things we can do, recommend to the schools to do? They could be new ideas, old ideas, things that are already happening that we can enhance. And um, in regards to the letter, should we go ahead and try to push for a sit down still with our elected officials?
I don't know if I'm on mic. Let me get in the picture.
Yes, I can hear you, Miss Simon.
Because I was in my email trying to find the letter. I think I forwarded it to Ms. Lyons. So regarding schools,
Mm-hmm.
you said fundraiser for monies for supplies or whatever it is. I was just thinking, the holidays are here and the students are putting on shows. I'm at the schools and they're singing, and the parents and the family members want to come out. And if the schools were to charge a fee of entry, just encouraging, or asking for it or suggesting it, because the families are coming out big to hear the Christmas shows. And
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good idea that they can do also, a nominal fee or suggested fee
yeah.
for Christmas performances. They can even do it maybe for I know Black History is coming up in a couple of months, and there's a lot of um, you know, schools that have some kind of program going on. They can do that. I like calling it sometimes more suggested, because you know what? Sometimes all parents can.
I was trying to find that word, but sometimes my words don't come out too
Yeah,
quickly.
no, that's
Yeah.
fine. And you don't want to make anyone feel as if you're turning them away or they're not welcome because they can't, pay. And especially if it's a large family, like maybe just the adults pay a nominal fee or something, maybe $5 is the most or what, and the kids are free. But I just think that we have to find all the necessary ways um, that can help bring in some revenue, right? And as I said, it's not going to be thousands of dollars. It's really not, but whatever amount they have can help supplement their budget. Miss Ivor, I see
Hi.
you. Hi.
What about movie night for the public schools and maybe the junior high schools?
There we go.
I know that in Virginia, when I was in Virginia, that was a very popular idea, a night for kids to come out and family to come out and have popcorn sales or bake sales
Yeah.
while attending the movie night. So you're not just generating income from finance money from one source, from just the movie night, the
Right.
admissions. you're also, you got different assets, different streams.
Yeah, I like that. And with movie night, yes, you can get popcorn and soda and sell it. And as I said, as a partnership, the way we can partner, and I can ask people like, oh, can you donate a bottle of popcorn, maybe some oil or butter or what, for something for them to make it, because it's cheaper for them to make it than it is to buy it. And I'm not crazy about these packaged popcorns or what, but it's something, if you can donate the ingredients to them and they can sell it, of course they make
Right.
some money off of that. So I do like that, a movie night.
Cotton candy,
Yes.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Especially for the younger kids, that stuff is very popular.
Yeah,
Sweets,
it is.
popcorn,
Yep.
a Friday night, hanging out with their family and their friends.
Yep. Yep. You're so right. And even if, let's say, somebody donated a box of snacks, right? Chips or something like that, they're like what, 48 in a box, and they sell them maybe for $2 or whatever. That's another set of money that they're getting that they didn't have, and can supplement to do it. It's all about the grassroots. Those the little bits of money always, it counts, it adds up. So I do know one or two schools that do movie nights or whatever, but what if we make it a national movie night where district, schools in our districts, everybody's having a movie night, like a Friday night or a Saturday, Saturday evening,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
find
it.
one of the newest movies that's out that the kids like. That I don't know how many people go to the cinema or what, but I wait till everything comes down on Max or Disney. and 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 I watch them because they're still relatively new, because I didn't realize that the movies were so expensive. That gotten so expensive. And when I realized this. I'm trying to remember what movie it is I went to see, and I was so disappointed that I went, because I was like, I could have waited till it come out on one of the streaming channels. And to get in the movie, it was like almost $20, and then the cost of the popcorn. And I sat down there and I calculated a family of 4, mother, father, and 2 kids.
Forget about it.
Them about $100 and something, because every child want popcorn and drink and a candy or whatever. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You can't even go to the movies anymore as a family.
No.
Because it's so expensive. So doing something like that where mom, dad, and the kids can come out a Saturday evening, you have a outing among your peers, and also I call it also the networking movie night, because you get to meet other parents who you may not necessarily see. So those things are possible. Thank you, Mr. Tate. Is your hand still up, or were you asking again?
No, yeah, I just put it up because
Okay.
yes, no, I like the idea, especially what you just brought up about the universal movie night within the community board.
Yeah.
Cause this way no school can think or say that we are favoring one school over the other.
Yeah.
So by doing every school the same night, at least offering it to every school for the same night, if somebody doesn't want to join, it's not an us. But no one can say that, okay, we favoring 135 or 168, etc. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because as I said, we can't make enough money. We can't do anything to make enough money right now to give to every school.
Yes.
I don't want to hear.
Yeah, my daughter in their school, they did something like that. I believe it was in the spring, and Yeah, so they had like I forgot which group, some one of the students, but this is high school. But the students did some presentations, and then they sold tickets to the parents, and of course, the family members came to see them and all that to get the support. So that's a good idea, and I could see. Let me see if I have the information how they did it in high school in Manhattan, the high school in Manhattan, because we could do something similar. Because what they did, they in their case, what they charge for a ticket, and then the ticket that they had like certain snacks and so forth
Yeah.
that was included in there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You could do a price point, right? You could do just admission, like here, here you could pay for admission, or here's a packet, of popcorn, and it could be like popcorn and juice, and admission is $20, right? I'm telling you, $20 for the drop of almost $100 going to the regular movies. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. And you let the kids go sit with their friends, and watch the movies. It's just like we just gotta think really creative, the best way to get around,
Yes, and one thing that you mentioned earlier, when I think it was you, I'm not sure if it was someone that was trying to come up with a word where it would not alienate anyone that could not afford to bring the whole family.
Yeah.
One thing another word that could be used, but then we have to be careful how we use it. Because it's like, instead of charging, let's say they have a concert just for in one particular school, they could suggest a donation.
Yeah.
And this way, no one could say, "Well, I can't go, I can't afford it." But if someone could donate $20, someone else could donate $5. At least the one that could only afford $5 doesn't feel left out.
Right. And our part could be that, and I'm not saying that anyone has to do this or what. I'm just looking at ways where we as a board will come in and help partner with the schools on this, that okay, if I could say, okay, I'm going to donate a packet, right? A movie packet of for entry and popcorn and soda or whatever for one or two families, right? That and these are, because sometimes, these schools know best with the families, financially, who can afford and not afford, and be like, listen, use this at your discretion for this or that family. Or what they can do is have it as they announce their movie night or whatever, and then there is a raffle drawing to see which family wins it, in that way. But they can figure it out. But thank you, Miss Saunders. I did see your message. Thank you. So, anyone else? Any other ideas? And you don't have to speak now. If there's anything else that comes up, please, just shoot me an email. Send me an email, and I gladly, get your feedback. What I wanted to say, that my executive board, when I asked them the question about the letter and stuff, one of the things they said to me was that perhaps we should have a forum around the sometime in the spring, around the low enrollment, and invite members of the Department of Education, of course, and parents, to come in and to have that conversation. What do you guys think about that? They said have a town hall around the issue, and the town hall would encompass all the schools also. What do you guys think of that?
Who will be leading the town hall?
Well, we as a committee, we would be the one that's leading it, but we would, I guess, I mean, I haven't figured out all of this. This was just suggestions that the group was making, but it would be, you know, we just have a moderator and have that conversation, maybe a fireside chat with, we'll look to see. I know I don't want to say the to get David Banks there or what, but to find who would be the most suitable person in DOE to have this conversation with around school enrollment, right? And might be some other people.
Only reason why I asked is because when you use the label town hall, town halls can become very contested at times.
Yes, it was just a choice of words, not necessarily the format.
Right, that's very far from a dialogue chat.
Yeah, it was just a choice of words that were thrown out there that night, not necessarily the format that we would use.
Right.
And I have no hopes of having any kind of town hall where it gets really rowdy and stuff. I would say a fireside chat or a forum around school enrollment, something like that.
Gail, what I'm confused about, what exactly are we trying to find out with this forum? The reasons why there's low enrollment in New York City public schools?
So for the principals, so it would be, we would also have the principals speaking around that issue, right? And to hear members of from DOE talk about in terms of enrollment. Now, I don't know if the policies, as I said, I don't know the full grasp on it because all of my information has come mainly from the principals of what they're experiencing. So we want to hear from the DOE side. Here's these schools experiencing low enrollment. We know with this comes that their budgets will be cut because they're not making their numbers and stuff. Like, what are the various ways that, you know, that they cannot, if they don't make their numbers, that the budget still remains substantial. Now we know the money follows the kids, so it sounds kind of like, no, if you don't have the kids, you can't have the money or what, but maybe there are ways that they can help.
Okay, all right.
Because I honestly, I don't know. I myself don't know, but would love to hear the ways and means that there could be some kind of solution.
Because we're all aware from our families and our neighborhoods that young people is very difficult in New York City, and they're leaving the city and the state and going to Maryland or going to South or going everywhere else besides New York City because people can't afford it to buy a home or so every young people with families and young children are leaving the city. We know that.
Yes, and that was one, well, both principals noted that. This was not anything to do with the charter school taking any kids or what. It was families leaving the community itself and moving to different states. The kids has just move out of New York. So yes. So any thoughts on that? Yes, Ms. Saunders. Are you saying bye?
No, I was using my hands up to support you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I did the wrong one.
Okay. So any other thoughts on that, of having that kind of conversation? What does anyone has any other thoughts? Okay. So as I said, if anything comes to mind, just please, you know, email me or email Miss Lyons. I'm going to put my email in the chat and, you know, just tell me what you think. I love to hear from you. I know it's something that you probably have, because things like this, I like to think on them, like give me some time to think and then execute your thoughts. In terms of unfinished business, so we're still looking at our events for the year. Well, the year's almost over, but definitely the spelling bee, the CTE, youth happening. If we decide to do a forum, anything else comes up in there or what. Most of these, well, all of these events are going to take place within the next 6 months of the fiscal year. Just want to alert you, I am going to be creating some marketing materials so that we can hand out to people when we're out who we are, what we do, how to contact us, you know, just the general marketing stuff for people to get to know the committee and stuff. And we'll send you guys drafts, and I would love your feedback on them. You know, in terms of the context and the content and whether it's really fitting, also the design, that sort of thing. Okay. So now I'm going to move into new business. So this is where I open up the floor. If any members or non-members, if you want to share any upcoming events or other information with the committee, you have about 15 minutes to do that. So if there's anything you want to share right now, anything you have coming up. Nothing? No events in your schools or in the community or anything?
Well, I can mention that the Brooklyn Chamber is having their annual meeting and winter gala the 19th of December at 5945 Strickland Avenue. And it's really nice. It's a black tie affair. Yeah, it's a gala.
Is there a cost to it that you know?
I think it's 150. I'm not sure, but you know, Brooklyn Chamber Annual, a lot of sponsors are there. And also that's Tuesday the 19th, and the Wednesday, the next day, the NAACP is having their general membership meeting, but it's going to be it's $30, and they're going to have a party from 6:30 to 8:30 at 525 Waverly Avenue. The NAACP. It was like a party.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Anyone else? Anything happening that you guys are aware of? Any events? Anything of concern? Nothing? Okay. So that be I know Miss Lyons, let me see. I saw an email from the God Squad, and I know they have, I hope I didn't miss it. Oh, they're having, oh, we did miss it. It was Tuesday. I didn't see the email till later. They had the end of the year event. And then there was another event. Oh, another thing that's happening for the God Squad. They are looking for mentors for the Flatbush Leadership Academy. And it's a really great program. Oh, I mentored 1 year. They're looking for mentors this year for the young people. And if any of you are interested in mentoring young folks, I'm going to drop the link to the Flatbush Leadership Academy in the chat. I will say, look it over, look at the programs, reach out, and please, I believe me when I say it's a really great program. The God Squad does a lot of great work within the community. So I'm always like pushing people towards them because I have seen the growth and development of this organization and the growth and development of the kids who are part of this organization. And if any of you guys know Pastor Monrose, he was the person who started this organization, and it was just about keeping peace on the street during the Kamani Gray killing. And you know, it has grown tremendously. So some of the work that they have done has been phenomenal. So you know, if you have time or if you have a young person who, you know, would like to work as a mentor, please, you know, reach out to them, join them, or if there are young people that you know that would greatly benefit from that mentorship where they're being mentored, please reach out. The staff are really great, and I can't say anything more around them. I know that Councilwoman Lewis, not Lewis, Mr. Tate, I'm sorry, I saw your hand. Give me 1 second. Waterman, not Councilwoman, I'm sorry. Assemblymember Waterman, she has, I think there is an event coming up with her. I cannot find a flyer. I don't know if Mr. Tate or Miss Lyons knows about it, but I think it's a holiday party. Not sure, but I can ask Miss Frazier. Mr. Tate?
Yes, well, three things, but you mentioned the God Squad, what you call it, the Flatbush Leadership Program.
Yes.
That was one, yeah, when you were looking, that's what I was going to say. But also, Ms. Assemblywoman Waterman, here, our event is December 16th at 12 p.m. at PS 198.
Thank you.
Which is right over here at Albany and right across from the board office, Albany and Farragut. Yeah,
Oh,
it's yes.
Okay.
And it's the address is 4105 Farragut Road, and but they call it a Vital Voice Community Meeting and Holiday Toy Giveaway. It's
Yes.
like they have a nice event for the kids every year over there. So that's the information on that. Okay. While I'm not to raise my hand again, I just wanted to, if you could double check, because from what I'm looking, it seemed like I was marked as excused at the last meeting, but I came in late. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, because you could see my name in the minutes, because I did have some suggestions for one of the principals.
Okay. Mr. Tate. Oh, I have you here. Yes. Being at the last meeting. Okay. But I'll get Miss Lyons to make that correction in there. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tate. Is there anything else from anyone? Okay, hearing nothing more. Let me just say, I want to wish you guys, each and every one of you and your families, the best for the holiday season. Spoil the kids, buy lots of toys, but please remain safe. You know, this is the season where, you know, the robberies kind of escalate, and you know, you're shopping and the pickpocketers are out watching you and stuff. So when you're out there, please remain vigilant, stay safe, keep your families safe, but Enjoy your holidays. Blessings to all of you. And I hope you have the most glorious and wonderful Christmas and all the best for the new year with your families, and everything that you hope for and wish for, and health and strength and wisdom, it all comes true.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. So it's 8:47 p.m. I'm going to ask someone to please make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Can you please give your name, full
This
name?
is Ivor. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Charles
Please
Tate,
get a
second.
Thank you, Mr. Tate. And with that, thank you. Our meeting is officially over, and happy holidays to everyone.
Happy
Ms.
holidays,
Grandison?
everyone.
Ms. Grandison?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just emailed you the flyer for Miss Waterman event, so maybe you could pass it along.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tate.
You're welcome.
Miss
Thank
Grandison,
everyone.
can you mark my attendance? I know I stepped in a little
Oh,
late.
Timothy?
Yes.
Yeah, I have you. I have you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Happy holidays to you too.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Miss Lyons.